Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of the Power Rangers Ninja Steel finale. Alright, so I'm going to go over my sort of review mostly first, and then I have one quick little, not theory, but sort of idea I wanted to run by, and I don't want to bog down the main review with it. But so as for the episode itself, I thought it was a very decent-ish finale. I definitely had my problems with it, but it was decent-ish. I still didn't feel the sort of finale impact or hype. I don't know what the right word is, but usually when there's a finale, even in some of the shows that I haven't liked as much, you feel that sort of final sense. And granted, this is sort of technically like a mid-season finale because it's going to be 2 seasons, but ever since Megaforce, they have tried to make them more season finale-ish, you know, because we actually did stuff that would usually happen in a finale. We lost the powers, we defeated the main enemy, but so I still wanted to feel that sense of, you know, importance. And Dino Charges, the original Dino Charge, not Supercharge, I had the same problem with where I didn't feel that. I actually did feel it a little bit more in this one because it felt more like finale scale stuff, whereas the Dino Charge one, I feel like they stumbled into the events of the finale stuff via a regular plot, if that makes any sense. My point is that neither one of them felt like a season finale scale in terms of investment, but I think Ninja Steel's was a little bit better at it with like the stealing of the stars and everything, and incorporating Victor and Monty's device was kind of clever. It's just, it would have been better for me if they had been more likable characters. Like, even when they were on the ship and they're like, oh, we don't want to hurt the Rangers, it's like, I still just don't like them. And if they had made them, you know, more likable characters that were not just cartoons, then I could have invested in that aspect more. But it was kind of clever to make use of that and make use of Madame Odious trying to use it further to betray Galvanax like she was wanted to. I stopped myself for a second because I'm like, wait, it's a he, but then that's the ninja. It's so confusing. But yeah, so basically, after the other Rangers are kidnapped, they're trying to get Brody's running off, and then he decides the best solution is to destroy the star, which, in a way, it made sense because he's like, I have to be like my dad and be heroic and not give it to him, but Galvanax just said, if you don't give me the star, I'll kill your friends, or destroy. Side note about that in a second. And then he's like, well, I'll just destroy it then. Like, as if Galvanax would be like, well, I could kill your friends, but I clearly said I would only kill them if you didn't give me the star, and destroying it was not in the rules. You got me there. So, it seemed kind of stupid. Like, I understood the thinking, but it also seemed kind of stupid. Side note, I don't know why Power Rangers refuses to use the word kill. And I'm not about, like, we need to teach kids about killing, but it's just a little practice that seems ridiculous to me because I've recently been watching Gravity Falls, and that is a show on Disney, which a lot of people will stereotypically say it's only childish stuff. And if a Disney cartoon can use the word kill, how is Power Rangers not doing it? It just, because it doesn't even have to come up that often, and you can use destroyed still, but like in the context, like when his dad came back, he said, I thought you were destroyed. Who says that? Like, if your grandfather had had a heart attack and then he was in the hospital recovering and he was fine and you'd be like, oh, grandpa, I thought you were destroyed. That would make no sense. I mean, granted, different circumstances. Anyway, him destroying the sword brought the prism to create 3 red stars, and it transformed Brody back into red, Mick into red, and brought his dad back from the dead, or he was basically in a stasis. Like, oh, it's fine, I was just chilling in some sort of void. At least he wasn't awkwardly avoiding his son for 10 years because he was a creepy stalker. Hashtag Dino Charge. Anyway, so that happened, and I have a little nitpick, not nitpick, but something I think should have happened in terms of the 3 reds and the brothers and sons, but it was kind of neat to see Mick as a ranger, mainly from the standpoint of, well, I do like Mick as a character, so it was cool, but from the standpoint of Kelson Henderson becoming a true ranger finally, since he had that whole Orange Ranger moment in SPD, which was really neat. So that was cool, and it was, I do like applaud them for original thinking of pulling this footage out of the 3 reds for the mid-series instead of the actual series, because this content was from the actual series finale of Ninja, so I thought that was kind of neat. The final finisher of them just turning into the stars was weird. Like, I thought they were just gonna do their finishers and like the star was gonna blast with them, but they just straight up turned into the stars, and Galvanax drinking the Ninja Steel was sort of weird, but it wound up being a kind of neatish moment when the giant tractor beam was like sucking him up, and then the Ninja Steel meteor that they talked about from last week ended up destroying the ship, or mostly destroying it and knocking Madame Odious out. So it was kind of a clever way of bringing something in you might have forgotten about because there was so much else going on. But so that was kind of neat. The Ninja Steel Nexus Star is kind of confusing. Like, I'm okay with it being a little bit vague and sort of implied that it sort of customizes the powers and stuff to the Ranger's interests. I feel like that was always slightly implied. So I'm kind of okay with that. But I feel like with both that and the Dino Charge Energems, they were like interesting enough that I want to know more about like where it came from, what makes it tick. And we're probably never going to get anything like that. And this one made it seem more sentient than ever. Like, we all know the Dino Charge Energems were super judgmental. Like, if you thought about stealing one Snickers bar when you were 11, it's like, you're not worthy. But this one was like straight up sentient, it seemed. And I would love to know more about that. I would hope to maybe get something in Super Steel, but I doubt it. So that was just kind of a weird moment. And it was destroyed at the end, and all their powers were destroyed, and it was a lot more final in that way than Dino Charges. And we obviously know they're coming back. I know back when the spoilers came out, and a couple videos ago when I was talking about certain things, there were some people like talking about the spoilers saying, well, maybe they're going to do Duoger or something. No, we already know they're doing Super Ninja Steel. There's been numerous announcements. The toy packaging shots just came out. So we know that it's going to be more Ninja Steel footage, and we're probably going to get some sort of anniversary-ish stuff. But so, yeah, it was more final. I'm kind of curious how they bring it back. I do appreciate that they make it feel more like a final season thing. But I did notice that in both this finale and in Dino Charges, they had a situation where the main enemy ship was sort of damaged and assumed destroyed, but it wasn't. And the Rangers were too incompetent not to follow up on it. Now in Dino Charge it would have been easier because they still had their powers and it fell on Earth. So they definitely should have checked for that. Now for this one, it was in space. They don't have their powers, and they don't have the Ninja Star Zords or anything like that. But at the end of the episode, Mick's like, I'm grabbing a space taxi. So Mick could have, before heading home, checked up on it. Or they could have contacted the princess chick, the lion girl, and asked her to check up on it. And so I know that it's a little bit more tricky for them to check up on it in Ninja Steel than Dino Charge, but still, it makes them seem really dumb to just assume it, you know? And we obviously know it's going to come back to bite them later. But so yeah, overall, I thought it was an okay finale. It wrapped some things nicely-ish up, but I still had some problems with it. It was still a bit rushed. Now, real quick, I want to talk about at the end in terms of the 3 Red Rangers. I personally, if I was writing it, I would have loved to have seen the 3 Reds been Brody, his dad, and his brother. I know that would have technically made it a little bit closer to Ninja's concept because it was father, son, grandfather. But I think it just thematically would have been cool to basically have things come full circle from the pilot. You know, the fact that his brother and his father and himself were the 3 witnesses to the original event, and to have it come full circle, them all 3 becoming Reds. And I think they could have done that and avoided the whole weird robot memory story with Brody and stealing memories. It's like straight out of soap opera Tale of Two Tods stuff. And I think, what about Gold then? I think it should have been Mick. I think Mick would have been a perfect Gold Ranger. I think they could have had this whole like foreshadowy-ish storyline leading up about him learning about Earth culture and becoming obsessed with things like rock and roll and the Old West and loving hamburgers. And then it would explain why the Nexus Star would have given him such a customized power set. And I think that his more fun personality could have worked for the selfie bit and for some of the wackier movements in the Star Ninja footage. I think it just would have been a stronger choice for the 6th Ranger, and I think that making the 3 Reds the family would have been cooler. And even though I do like some of the concept of Levi, which I'll probably get into the series review. Also, small side note, I really wish at the beginning of the series when his dad became Red that they'd used the gold sash, because it seems weird that all of a sudden he has a new sash since Brody had his. It just, I don't know, like, in my head, I'm like, well, maybe it's some sort of power scale. Like, he's been Red so long now, it upgraded to gold sash, but I don't know. It's just, like, a small detail. Like, sometimes small little things bother me like that because it's so easy to fix. But, yeah, Also, what's going to happen is I'm going to do a season review. I was going to film it not long after this, but I forgot about the Christmas special, so I'm going to wait till after the Christmas special. That's definitely not going to affect my overall review of the season, but it's going to bother me if it's basically an incomplete review, especially when I talk about the holiday special portions. Plus, I need a little bit wiggle room this week in terms of videos that are going up for some new releases for toys and some semi-new releases that got delayed because the post office was holding my HLJ package hostage. He was holding my package hostage. But so yeah, basically expect the season review after the Christmas special, and then I'll probably do a Christmas special video. But as for just the finale itself, I thought it was very okay. Like I said, definitely some problems, but they did have some creative stuff in it, and it was decent-ish. I would probably give it a 7. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Dawson Ryder, signing out.